Well, good evening. Looks like we might have been having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are here. We are live. Welcome to Fantasy Turf War, the coolest fantasy football league on the planet. This is season 2, episode 25. Overall, episode 101. We are streaming live on many platforms at this very moment. If you're listening, or even if you pick up our show later in the week, subscribe, like, share our channel. This is going to help us grow, and it's also going to help you grow too. The more listeners we have, the more people we can help. We appreciate you listening in and or contributing to conversations. And when I say we, I am talking about my awesome co-hosts. Let me bring them in. That would be Susan, the Gridiron Goddess, and Adam from Fantasy Couriers. Please introduce yourself. Susan, start.
Hey, I'm Susan, the Gridiron Goddess. I like to help new people to fantasy football. Welcome if you're here. Not only like this stream, but if you go like our platforms as well, you can get to all of us. That way you can find it. So, Adam, are you good? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
This has been a night. I went to get onto this, and my computer had to restart and reboot, and then I got on. As you can see, I'm crooked too, so I'll sit this way the entire time if you're watching. So I'm trying to get the camera just so I'll fiddle with that while you all are talking. But yeah, it's been a night. I don't have any glasses, so I can see everything. But I am Adam, DJ Dove from the Fantasy Couriers. Excited to be here. I didn't see a place in here, but I got to tell you, this has been my best week of football all year.
Oh, really?
Fantastic.
One
loss. Wow.
Next week's gonna be a disaster. Like I looked about next week. Next week's my bye week murder. So I gotta brag 1 week. Be like, dude, I had 14 wins.
I've learned never to question it. Take the wins when you get them, and if you got them in volume like you did, Adam, well done. Of course, I'm.
Did you win in Turf War?
I did.
I was gonna say I saw that. That's
Nice.
going to help my ranking that you beat that guy.
Yeah, we'll talk about the team that lost later on. My one team that lost shouldn't have lost. Like, once you hear who's on this team, like they're not stellar, but should not have lost.
Oh, I had the same thing. We'll talk about that here soon. I'm Cameron. I'm representing Shelter Dogs for Veterans. We did hear from Commish Corey over this last week, who said that communications are still very sketchy in Antarctica, but he is doing well. Talking about doing well or not so well, we've got lots to talk about on this show. Because the second part of Wicked is coming to theaters this weekend, we thought we'd put a spin on tonight's topics. The word wicked used to mean something evil or bad, and then movies came along like The Incredibles with the quote, "That was totally wicked," which sounds hip and cool. So sometimes we have to qualify some words as being either good or bad. And for those who have not seen Wicked, the musical, it does lend itself to the latter, where someone who was thought of as being wicked was framed and simply misunderstood. But we saw plenty of wicked plays and wicked catches this weekend, to be sure, translated really good. And then, of course, there is the bad. Some teams who we thought should have been contenders for the playoffs are now on life support. But coming back to fantasy on life support, do you guys have any teams you thought should just be the absolutely lock or shoe in for the playoffs, but now seems like you're fighting to get into contention?
Yeah, I got my one dynasty team. This is my one loss this week. Like it's a dynasty league, a bunch of JJ wings, friends, family that I got into, and it's one that I sort of play with. It's not super strong, but based upon the competition, I should be a shoe-in. Right now, I'm setting right on the cusp. Last week, I lost by 18 points to the worst team in the league. And my starting guys, let's highlight some guys who are on this team last week. Saquon Barkley, Nico had a good week. Vidal, terrible. Tua, terrible. Puka, not that great. Amon-Ra, dead in the water. Keenan Allen, whatever. Kyle Pitts sucks. Chase Brown had a good week. Trevor, they won, but he looked terrible. My second highest scorer was Santos, the kicker for the Bears, and the 49ers were ho-hum. So Woody Marks on the bench, Walker on the bench. This is a team that should be competing, or at least up there. I got Williams on the bench, Franklin on the bench. You know, Pickens. I didn't start Pickens. That would have been the difference. Actually, no, I would have still lost. Thank goodness. But that one is
frustrating.
Frustrating because that would have given me 15 out of 15. That was one of my goals.
Susan, any teams on life support you wish you could just pull the plug now?
Yeah, I've got a couple. One of them was one I won a championship in last year. It's a dynasty team. I won a championship in that league, and this year they are just like underperforming that team. So that sucks. I have 11 teams. I would have had 10 wins if CeeDee Lamb had caught that touchdown last night. That catch broke my win that night. So that sucks. But I have one team I'm in 4th place. I've got one I'm in 6th. I've got several that I'm like right there. And like I was looking at the schedule for the rest of the run to playoffs. It could go either way. So I'm right on the bubble in a lot of places.
Yeah, my leagues outside of Fantasy Turf War, because we only take top 2 in Fantasy Turf War. The rest of my leagues is that the top 4 go to the championship bracket. The next 4 go to consolation bracket. And my dynasty team, same situation as yours, Adam, should be a lock every week to put up points. This week, dismal, absolutely dismal. This is a team I went to the big dance, the championship game. I lost last year with this team, but it just gets usually locked and loaded every year, perennial in the playoffs. And now I'm fighting. I'm outside looking in, and I've got a very deep roster across the board. But I'd say the game that really crushed me this week is I had a good lead going into last night's game, and I had GNT. And he put up very few points. I don't know why they didn't run him, and I lost by 1.5. That's it. And it's like, wow.
Rough.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely wicked bad. But for the NFL teams, who would you guys consider to be on life support? Meaning they should be better, but they're fighting for their survival as well. Susan, who do you have?
So I picked the Chargers. They've looked really good, but you can't have a loss like that to Jacksonville. It's like the whole team just didn't show up. Herbert had like 6 fantasy points. Vidal got hurt. You don't know who to trust in the wide receiver room there. I think QJ goosed again. Like it just is not good. So they're going to have to make some adjustments or something to keep their hopes alive if they're going to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that game is by losing to the Jaguars are now in the playoff hunt right now as one of those seeded teams right now. So, Adam, life support, talk to me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's y'all's Dallas Cowboys.
We don't hear about that.
You look at this team, they're 4-5-1. So realistically, playoff hunt wise, they're still in the picture. I mean, NFL is only 9 games and they got 8 more games. That offense can put up 40 points like that. Especially if Pickens stays on fire, CD's on fire, Ferguson's a stud, Javonte does enough. That offense is spectacular. The problem is the defense thinks they play for Cincinnati, and most weeks, so it's going to be hard to see. I mean, you beat the Raiders, whoop-de-doo. You lost to the Cardinals, But coming up, the schedule is not necessarily murderer's row. The Eagles, they're down. The Chiefs, they're playing around like they don't know what's going on. The Lions, that's probably a loss. The Vikings are ho-humming. The Chargers you're talking about, the Commanders and the Giants, they could sneak into the playoffs, putting up 40 points to 38 or something to that effect. And they get this week when they get Williams is going to start playing, right? Quinyon, which one of the bros? They got Quinyon, the D lineman, or did he play?
No, he played last night.
Yeah. I missed him up. But yeah, so getting him in there is going to help because he's a really good player. So getting him in because it's ready with the system, and I think I'm worried, but that life support could be bumping up. I might have argued myself out of what I was thinking before.
Well, I actually did have Kansas City on my life support listing. I mean, they're like must-win situation because their number wins, and I think they need to get to 10, and they only have 5. They're going to have to start running the table a little bit here and have some other luck play into it. So I think them and the Ravens, I think both, they're like every weekend, must win. But really, the one I'd say is more on life support out of the group that should have been already in the playoff hunt with Cincinnati. If you look back before the season started, they had everything going for them. They had a good running game. They had great receivers. Burrow was healthy, the whole bit. And then Burrow gets hurt, and everything just starts falling apart. They can still get back into the playoff hunt. They're in, I'd say, a weaker division at this point, but they're going to have to start doing something, turn that thing around quick. Burrow may be back week 13, but right now, anybody in the NFL world or fantasy world, you can't bank on maybes at this point. You've got to have points. You've got to have the wins. So, yeah. Lots took place back in in week 11. A lot of stories to talk about here. Let's take a look at some of those things. So let's start off by picking a headline for the past weekend that was either wicked good or wicked bad. Susan, what do you have?
So mine's kind of going both directions, and that's the Dallas Raiders game last night. Dallas was playing emotionally charged, right? They just lost a teammate. And whenever that happens, unfortunately, I feel like we've seen this happen more than once, right? Where there's some sort of big thing that happens that a team then has to rally around, and they were playing the Raiders. But like Adam said, their schedule coming up is not great. I worry a little bit about if they can get that offense going because the defense is not good. Now we'll see. Hopefully Mitchell makes a difference. They did okay last night. They had a couple takeaways. And so last night was, I think, better than people anticipated, which is great. But I just worry about when they start playing these better offenses, are they going to actually be able to keep up? Because not only the offenses that they're playing better, so are the defenses. So if the defense can't get their stuff together, I'm worried the offense won't be able to keep up just based on schedule. But it was really nice. They got the win in Vegas last night. The team looked in sync. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the Schottenheimer was trying to do, sitting CeeDee and Pickens at the beginning of the game for one drive. I don't know. Did it send the message to the team that you need? Right. Yeah. But is one drive and then you rely on them so much really going to make a difference to them? I don't know. But
depends on how big the ego is. I mean, apparently it made a difference if you think about it, but maybe not. Maybe they would have come out on fire to start with anyways, as opposed to the illusion that, oh, you're being penalized by not starting, now come out on fire.
Yeah, I feel like you're hurting the team at that point.
But overall, it was Vegas. So it's like,
right. Yeah,
really?
Exactly. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, did you also know that for as many Monday night games that these two teams have had, they'd never met until last night on Monday night? Out of all these historical teams, they had never met on Monday night.
You said something. You were talking about the Chiefs being on life support. When whatever game, I think they were a primetime game this week, right? Were they Sunday night? They put something up that said the Chiefs were 0-4 in one-score games this season, and the Broncos were like 5-1 or something. And that is exactly what happened last season for the Chiefs, only they were on the other side. Yep. So it just kind of goes to show, like, if your offenses are kind of middling, not able to really get anything going, which right now I would say both of their offenses are. I mean, Bo Nix has had to pull wins out of thin air, right? Mm-hmm. So I just thought that was really interesting because it's just the inverse of last season for the Chiefs.
Totally. Adam, anything wicked good or wicked bad for headlines?
Let's go with good. I could watch Monday Night Football. Let's just go there.
Yeah.
I could watch Monday Night Football, and it seems like it's going to pan out too. It looks like I'm going to get some ESPN Unlimited. Is going to be part of YouTube TV now. So I won on this side until my bill goes up like $80 next year or something ridiculous. Like a little hyperbole there, but the bill's going to go up. There's no way, because ESPN Unlimited was something they wanted in there anyway. It gets their free thing in there, but I wasn't going to pay $30 a month for ESPN. I really don't watch it that much. I watch Monday Night Football. I might be close to it. College ball I'll watch occasionally, but not as much. my college is usually on that ESPN Plus thing that I got for $1 more through Disney already. So, and they might be at James Madison University. They might be in discussion. They're moving up there. They could beat that top 12, which is kind of fun. So I'll talk about that in a few weeks if they don't blow it. But actually, that's my Wicked. Wicked bad. Oh, and the government open. Here we go. Everything up here.
There you go.
We have traffic again up here. Then my friends are getting paid. So I guess what can I do?
All right.
But Wicked bad is Shador Sanders.
Oh no.
Shador Sanders.
Oh, no.
Well, the thing is, I have one Shador Sanders. I was doing an auction draft, and Shador Sanders, I always have a little bit of no money. Susan and I were talking about that on a conversation we're having this week, and he was $7. I'll add a quarterback in a super flex for $7 if he has a chance of being a backup. And then I heard he was going on because I was running some errands for the family real quick during the day there because my Dolphins played in the morning. By the way, they won. I guess they're terrible team. They're blowing. The highlight for me is they're blowing all their chances of getting a good player. But Shador came in. I was like, dude, I'm tuning to this, seeing if maybe this is going to be like this has written all over it. Amazing story. Shador Sanders comes into the league as a total jerkwad, blows off all these interviews, thinks he's the chosen one because he's Deion's kid, and Deion is close to the greatest cornerback. He's on the Mount Rushmore probably of cornerbacks to play because I want to throw it to him. He comes in, blah, 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 blah. He gets his head on straight, comes on out, and knocks everybody's socks off. No. 4
Came
of
out
16.
Interception.
47 yards, interception, had a one nice pass. I saw some meme, I forget the exact words, where like his real thing is, and it was his college problem, he held onto the ball too long. If he could get a Drew Brees for just whatever people think of too, he's got a quick release. If they're kind of quick release with his body as a pocket passer, there might be something coming to him. So if he gets coached well, maybe. But right now, he's on a Browns team that the offense is Judkins-ish, and other guys that we like Fannin, Judy some weeks. I like Tillman. I think he's the guy who comes back healthy if they can get a decent quarterback. Shador, but we're going to find out this week. Could that have been just the bad kick in the seat that he needed, that he bounces back and he watches film and goes, man, how did I not notice this the last 80,000 years that I'm holding the ball, getting sacked a lot? And that was, but it was not a good showing for someone who has, since he's come into the league, done the right things in front of him.
I saw a stat
bad.
I saw something that said that he hasn't gotten any first team reps though.
I saw the same thing too, so it's got to be true.
And so it's like I am a little surprised about that because you have 2 rookie quarterbacks. Now, obviously they have named Dylan Gabriel as their starter, but no first team reps with 2 rookies. You think you would at least want to try to see in practice what he has with actual starters versus the scout team. You know what I mean? So that was a little surprising.
Might be
if
telling.
he plays again this if he plays again this week. Say that again?
I'm hearing he's going to play this. He's going to be the starter. All the stuff I've been reading recently.
He should be.
Well, hopefully getting a full week of practice under his belt with his starters will make a difference because you can't set tempo and all that kind of stuff. You can't learn to do that with those guys on the field like that. It's so maybe this week will be better.
And he got robbed. So his day just sucked. He got robbed by those people
at his house.
Athletes.
Yes.
He lost $200,000 worth of style.
Crazy stupid.
They can't get worse,
Seriously.
man.
It was wicked bad performance. I hope he does better this coming week. But even the head coach in the post game was non-committal about, well, if Shador lights it up, do you have a quarterback controversy? Who starts when when Gabriel comes back and he's healthy? He's not going to tell you. And for him not getting first team reps at all to this point, kind of tells you a little bit about where the mindset is at. But I do hope the best for him. But
bring on the Raiders.
That's all you need. That's seriously all you need.
You're gonna have 8 sacks though.
Or you just need to have a good offensive play caller like my college mate Todd Monken. He's offensive coordinator at Baltimore. And when I saw that Mark Andrews had scored a touchdown, it was a 32-yard rush. It's like, did I read that right? And then I saw the highlights. It was a fake tush push, and they pulled Mark Andrews as soon as he got the ball, and he ran around the outside and just smoked them all. So, well played, Todd. Yeah, he actually has a birthday 13 days before mine, and went to Knox College, Galesburg. So, all right, that was wicked good. That was fun to actually watch, and they just kept playing that over and over and over again. Wicked bad. I'd have to go back to the Vegas usage of their two best offensive players. You do not know what you're going to get from week to week. Once Bowers got healthy, first weekend lit it up, and then what happened? MIA, not putting up much, not getting very, very much action relative to what he should be. He should at least be getting 10, 12, 15 targets a game without a doubt. Nobody can guard him. And then, of course, Gianti. I don't know what they were doing last night. It almost feels as if they don't know how to coach. They don't know how to play. And it really felt like Geno Smith was just going to say, I can still play. And the real answer is, I'm not sure you can. 2 games back, he was hobbling around and he's ineffective. Why are you still there? You guys could have won the game against Denver if you'd actually just put in somebody who was not hobbling, who was mobile, who could actually throw, plant the foot and throw. So again, I don't know what they're doing with their offensive players, and maybe this is their way to try to tank to get a better seed. But it just looked like really bad football. It made Dallas look fantastic, but at the same time, wicked bad. All right, let's now take a short break and get a word from our sponsor.
All right, let's take a quick time out to shout out our partners at Alpha Clash, the indie comic book trading card game that turns every match into a lore-driven battle for glory. In the Alpha Clash universe, superpowered contenders collide in a fast-paced game that perfectly blends fun and competition. Build your deck, unleash devastating abilities, and outmaneuver your opponent in a game that's as much about brains as it is about bold moves. The artwork will pull you in, the gameplay will keep you coming back, and the growing global community awaits. Head to alphaclashtcg.com and start your journey today. That's alphaclashtcg.com. It's time to enter the clash.
Well read, well animated once again, Adam, though.
I did some new emotions this week.
That's awesome. And every week we do try to find some things that keep it fun, engaging. This week is a different theme. This week it's all about the mystical world of witches and wizards. And for this episode, we entitled it Wicked Good or Wicked Bad. In this segment, we're going to look into the Wizards' crystal ball and take a look at teams and players that have easy or hard matchups for the playoffs. Keep in mind, some league playoffs start week 15. Others will begin week 16. So keep a watch for that in your own leagues to know exactly how many games you got left. So we've got 2 different topics here. The first one is, what player has a yellow brick road into the playoffs, meaning wicked good matchups heading to the playoffs? And then the second part of that is, who is going to be stopped by poppies, i.e. wicked bad matchups? So let's talk about the good matchups, and let's start with you, Susan.
So a couple of things that I want to highlight. One is Tua has one of the best quarterback schedules for weeks 15, 16, and 17. So I'm hoping that we can get over this trope that because he's from Miami, he can't play in the cold. It just seems like every year December shows up and he just his play goes down. But hopefully the good matchups this season will help him. They are playing Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and then Tampa Bay, those 3 weeks, which are allowing 3 points over expected, 5.2 for Cincinnati, and then 2.5 over expected. So hopefully that will work. And then the other thing, and I'm putting this in there because sometimes a matchup can be good for one position, but bad for another. So my good for this team will be talked about as a bad later, but the Colts have a good schedule for quarterback and for tight end. So if you have Tyler Warren, ride him into the playoffs. If you have Daniel Jones or you've been streaming Daniel Jones, the matchups for him are decent. So for Daniel Jones, you're looking at Seattle, which is middle of the pack that first week, which so hopefully they can rise above, but then San Francisco and then Jacksonville. So it's not the end of the world. But you're looking at decent matchups for the quarterback. And so the same schedule for the tight end. And it's even better for the tight end schedule going into those week 15, 16, and 17 for your playoffs.
Nice. Adam, Yellow Brick Road, what looks well paved for you?
Lamar Jackson, the Ravens' next 3 opponents. I'll go 4. The Jets, the Bengals, the Steelers. So just name a Raven that week. I mean, Mark Andrews, might as well throw him in there because the Jets are putrid. The Bengals offense is terrible. And if by chance you have to play in the first round of the playoffs in week 15, they play the Bengals again. Unfortunately, my Lamar team will have, I might play. We'll have a bye, and then I got to face New England, which kind of stinks. So that's it. I'm a little worried about that New England in my next to last week of the season. So I got to pray on that one.
And then my Yellow Brick Road is heading down towards the Minnesota receivers. They've got a couple tough matchups coming up here. Green Bay, Seattle the next couple of weeks, but then they have the 4th, 1st, 6th, and 10th easiest defenses against the pass. Again, super easy against the receivers. Now I think it all comes down to McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy actually given the ball. He looked horrible this past weekend. But again, if you're going to try to ride some receivers, that might be the group to watch for. But I've got to see something more on McCarthy in order to make that happen. All right. Stop by Poppies. I took that from The Wizard of Oz. So wicked bad matchups. Susan, what looks really bad for you?
So I'm going just 1 week. If you happen to make it into the playoffs, if you have a Green Bay Packer wide receiver, good luck. They're playing Denver. So if you can, try not to rely on a Green Bay Packer wide receiver in week 15. If you're playing Dobbs, if you've been having to start Wicks, who knows if Reed will be back by then? Probably not. But now that Watson is back, it's just so spread out. I worry versus that defense that's going to be getting to Jordan Love, just like they're going to get there. And so hopefully you can avoid Green Bay wide receivers that first week of the playoffs. If you happen to get through, though, and you make it past, it does get better. You have Chicago and then Baltimore. So it's not quite as scary for week 16 and 17, but you're going to have to make it through week 15 first.
And that Denver defense, they played against Mahomes tough. They flushed him out of the pocket. And it's like, whoa, that's the defense to be reckoned with. And now you want, as a playoff team in the NFL, you want to have a solid defense and a good offense. And it feels like Denver's got that balance right now. All right. Wicked bad. Who gets stopped by the Poppies, Adam?
I got an odd one, actually, just looking ahead for the playoffs. So when I was looking at it, I looked at it differently when I read the notes a little while back. But Jonathan Taylor, who's been the greatest fantasy football player this year, bar none, fantasy MVP, you can throw up 2 of the quarterbacks if you're super flex, but fantasy MVP for me is Jonathan Taylor. He's going to have some tough playoff matches. And surprisingly, some of the names I'm going to say are kind of shocking. He's got to face Seattle, who only allows 70 yards, 70.2 per game. San Francisco, 86.82 yards per game. And the Jaguars, 66.5 yards per game. I was shocked by that. He plays them twice in the end of the season. So the Colts have a tough kind of road going on. Do I think he's going to flop? I don't think so. But I think this could really, those teams that got to the playoffs riding Jonathan Taylor need to hope that someone else steps up a smidge because he's running against these tough defense. I mean, you're not going to bench him, but it's just one of those like, oh, crud, I had a great season with Murderers Row, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, because of the Jacksonville Jaguars, my team didn't win the championship.
It's expectations management. But so that's why I brought up mine, because they stop the run, they're better for your wide receivers to face them on that team.
Yeah, and the person who I think is going to get stopped in this last stretch to the playoffs, Sam Darnold of Seattle, and he's looked great all season. They've had a really good story to tell all season long, but weeks 13 through 15, they're against teams that are above average against quarterbacks. And then week 16, the Rams. Week 17, Carolina. And those are the 27th and 24th hardest teams to play against as quarterbacks. And so he's had a great run, but it could easily come crashing down, and he may get stopped short of where they would like to be. But fantastic.
And he's bad right now. That's the problem too. So he's going to be sailing.
And if you look at the last game against the Rams, 4 interceptions. Well, guess who they play against in week 16? If that's your playoff team and that's your playoff quarterback, they've got his number. So Sam Darnold did not have a very good week against the team they face potentially that first week of the playoffs.
Can I throw one thing for people to think about?
Sure.
A lot of people take defenses and they just go week to week and they don't think about it. They're like, who's here? Who am I going to drop? I've got it. Yeah. Some people don't roster 2 of them. I just want to bring up that Tampa Bay, their defense, their schedule for the rest of the season is this. This week, they play the Rams. That sucks. But 13, Arizona, that can be questionable. We'll see. But then New Orleans, Atlanta, who now has Kirk Cousins and Drake London is week to week. Yep. Then Carolina, then Miami. So the Buccaneers defense is a good defense, and their matchups from week 13 through your fantasy playoffs, including week 18, which if you have a week 18 championship, shame on you. But
seriously,
including week 18, you can keep them. So if they're available and you can hold them or roster 2 or something, go get Tampa Bay because you can ride them through the end of your season.
That's a great point you're raising. And I would also throw one more thing out there. If you're sitting at home, it's like, well, I already have a great defense, then still take Tampa. Make sure somebody else can't, because you don't want something like that left on a table and then burn you with it when they play against you. So, yeah, great tips. All right, and of course, as a tribute to the legendary show Wizard of Oz, no magical segment would be complete without having put on our Swami headgear and making bold predictions of the future. So the second part of our Wizard of Oz questions or topics would be like, well, define elimination. Which team is currently at risk of not making the playoffs that will defy elimination by getting to the playoffs? So, Adam, let's start us off. Who is going to defy elimination?
I don't know if the problem is I thought this was the low-hanging fruit. Let's be honest. Everybody, even Vegas, says that Baltimore is going to make the playoffs. I mean, how do you not with the Jets, the Bengals twice, Pittsburgh twice, Green Bay? New England's your hardest game. New England could be, I mean, if they beat New England, dude, they're smooth sailing. New England, Green Bay are their tougher game. Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers' age is catching up to him. They're not the old Steelers. They're going to be. They might even have a losing season, dare I say it, till all is said and done. Tomlin doesn't do that, but I doubt it. Cincinnati's terrible. Jets. So to me, it seems like the low-hanging fruit, but that's my answer.
And Susan, concur?
Yes, that is definitely who I was going to go with. I'm just looking at I picked Baltimore as well. Again, with the schedule, like. I mean, they get to play Cincinnati twice, which hopefully you're a Derrick Henry manager, because holy cow, that's going to help you as you keep going. But I was just looking at the Texans schedule. I think they have a tough road, but I don't think it's impossible. Hopefully CJ Stroud can get back. I just also really like the Texans, like, as an organization. So I'm hoping that maybe they can make something happen. I don't know that they will, but I want them to.
He's out this week. You saw that. He's officially ruled out.
Yeah, Mills is starting.
With Bills, they were going to win anyway.
Yeah.
Let him set.
Yeah.
And what we're facing here is a lot of teams that are just barely on the outside looking in, like Baltimore. You guys had mentioned both who you think would defy elimination. I mean, the odds makers called this weeks ago. They thought because of the schedules and the weakness of the division, they should be able to make the playoffs. But again, they're sitting at 5 wins. Yeah, they could easily pick up 5 or 6 out of this group, but I think it's going to take at least 5 to win that division. I'm also sitting with a team with 5 wins who I think is going to defy elimination. And again, it really does sound like a no-brainer. Kansas City. It's like, duh. How could they miss the playoffs, right? And they've got games against Dallas and Tennessee, Vegas, Houston. Well, there's 4. That only gets you to 9 wins. That means they're probably going to have to manufacture a win somewhere, perhaps out of Indianapolis, the Chargers, who have had their number, and Denver. So this could be an interesting
Christmas
finish.
Day.
Yeah, that could be a good Christmas present for somebody. Depends on who you're rooting for.
The rest of the world.
But Kansas City, just like the Ravens, they're going to have to take care of business with the teams that they should beat on paper. Again, Kansas City, Dallas, Tennessee, Vegas, Houston. Those should be 4 locked wins. Nothing's a given these days. But you have to get all 4 of those Kansas City if you want to make the playoffs, because I see that Chargers and Denver both have legitimate chances to make it before Kansas City. So there's a lot going on there. It's going to make for some interesting conversations in the next few weeks. All right. So that is the first part. So if the season ended today, though, which team would have their hopes taken away by the Flying Monkeys? So let's go to Adam. Carry them away. Who's in right now if the season stopped? But given the next few weeks, what happens? Who gets their chances dashed away?
I really wanted to say Jacksonville, because you watch them play, they're not good. The offense is so bad. Trevor Lawrence had 148 yards. The offense is dwindling. I just don't see them going. The problem I have is Arizona, Tennessee 2 times, the Jets. That gets them to 10 wins. So, Susan, tell me who we both picked.
So we're talking about them a lot tonight. We both picked the Chargers. Oh. Yeah, because they just can't fall. I'm going to say it again. You cannot fall on your face like they did against Jacksonville this week and continue to make it.
But their games are hard too. They got some tough matchups.
They do. That's
really KC, Dallas, Houston, Denver.
Yeah, and that's tough. But and if they could have pulled it together against Jacksonville, of course they did not. And if they had won and Denver had won, we'd also be looking at Kansas City in a whole different light now, too, of, wow, it's going to be even more difficult for Kansas City to get in. Chargers could allow this to happen if they fall on their face. But, man, you cannot do this right now. Not right now. Each win is going to be super critical, and that schedule is not going to be helpful. I just don't know if they were looking past the Jaguars or not. They shouldn't have. They took them way too lightly if that's the case.
Maybe they can regroup. They're on a bye week this week, but Philly and then Kansas City.
Dallas.
I mean, Dallas week 16, but maybe they can get it together, like their defense. Maybe they can make something happen, but then Houston and then Denver. Yeah, I just don't know with their schedule that they're going to be able to manage that.
Yeah, but the Raiders stink, but it's division. So it's like, any division game, it doesn't matter. Raiders will lose to everybody, but try to beat them. Yeah.
but they'll be in contention. Yeah, and they'll steal an odd win out of nowhere. It's like, wait a minute, that was a gimme win, and you lost to Vegas. So, yeah, the team that I've got that I think might have their chances taken away, Chicago. They're third seed right now if playoffs started this weekend. Third seed, but look who's in their division: Green Bay, Detroit, both. Chicago's schedule the rest of the way, they only face one team that has a below 500 record. That's not an illusion, guys. If you look to see what Chicago has done through the regular season, that they somehow earned that third seed, and I'm pulling up those teams that they beat. They beat
Giants, Vikings. Ooh, they're bad.
They beat the Cowboys. Okay. They beat the Raiders. Ooh. Commanders. Really, guys? They beat the Bengals in a shootout. Well, okay, that's a give. That's a gimme. Anyone could have won that one, but the way they won it is interesting. They beat the Giants. That's a bad team. They beat the Vikings, who looked horrible last week, and it wasn't that Chicago looked so great. Minnesota just choked, and
JJ
they could have won.
A problem.
Yeah, and so
McCarthy,
if you look at all the wins, yeah, they've
James.
racked up some wins at this point, but they've also got the schedule against them at this point. There's no way they should have even had this many wins at this point. Even Mooch, one of the commentators on one of the channels, he even said, yeah, Chicago's, would not be surprised if they missed the playoffs entirely at this point, even though they're right now in the driver's seat with that division. So, again,
yeah, oh gosh,
anything can happen.
Green Bay and then Cleveland and then Green Bay again. That sucks for them.
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they've got a difficult schedule ahead. So, all right, that was fun. That was a great set of topics to work through. And again, thank you everybody at home for indulging us on our wicked theme for this week. Hopefully your teams aren't going to be wicked bad, but we do have 4 teams on bye week: Denver, the Chargers, Miami, Washington, and hopefully you won't be horribly impacted with those teams being off. But let's take a quick peek at some of the confirmed or potential injuries or situations heading into week 12. I mean, yes, there are quite a few out there at this point, but the highlights I'd have to say on the quarterback side would be Jackson Dart and then Aaron Rodgers. We're not even sure he's even going to be able to play against Chicago right now. Potential fractured wrist, but not the throwing arm, but still could have some impact there. So again, have to watch that situation. And again, now Joe Burrow watch is on, that he may be coming back week 13. So again, not likely to happen this weekend at all. But running backs situation, when is Irving going to be back from for Tampa? That is killing so many people at this point in time. But again, the word is probably not this weekend either. Josh Jacobs went down for Green Bay. They're having some analysis done on that situation there to see if or how long that might be. The head coach earlier today said, there's still a chance he can play. Well, that's always going to be the case until he can't. So who knows? Keep a watch for it. And then Omarion Hampton now on the radar. He might be returning soon. Not this week, though. And the receiver front, Collins popped up as being questionable on the list for Houston. And then Drake London, that was a big loss for them. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. might be back this weekend. They think he should be, but again, keep a watch for that one. And then
that was later in the week, so yeah, I worry about that just because.
Yeah, I don't know. So again, it's a matter of you've got to pay attention to the injury reports and the status. And again, if you've got Marvin Harrison Jr., you're checking pretty much daily at this point to see, do I need to provide backup or a different backup plan or not? And then this last one popped up today on my radar. Jamar Chase, Cincinnati, likely to be suspended the week coming up here.
It's official. It's not likely. It's happening.
But he's appealing.
He was appealing it, but they said the likelihood of the appeal getting reversed probably not going to be likely.
It's literally on video, dude.
Well, he's going to miss, but when's the appeal case? So he might play this week and miss next. That's what I'm curious how the appeal goes.
That's
Oh, the
interesting
appeal
too,
was
but
today. That was today.
I don't think he can play the Wicked Witch clause on this one. That in Wicked he was just misunderstood. I don't think that's the case here. I mean, it was.
I would agree.
All right. So having the bye weeks again,
Deny.
4 teams, and then some of these key injuries. Let's take a look at the waiver wires. Might be your last gasp at making a run for the playoffs, but at the same time, you've got to do your research. You've got to do the needful to make sure that you're putting yourself in best position, and maybe not just this week, but for the future weeks as well. So, Susan, let's start with you. Look into the crystal ball. Who's going to help you this week?
So pay attention. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, go grab Michael Wilson. That was insane. Jacoby Brissett setting the NFL passing completion record of all time. Who would have thought? Almost 500 yards. Crazy. So if Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, definitely go pick up Michael Wilson. He's 42% rostered. So that's just a quick one. Who I really want to talk about though is Mac Hollins. He is only 16% roster on Sleeper, playing for the New England Patriots. He was at 79% of snaps week 10, 85% of snaps week 11. He had 10 targets in week 10, 5 in week 11, but the depth of target is 17.5 and 16. So, he got you 16 and 10.5 PPR points. So if you need a desperation play, they are playing Cincinnati this week. And the Drake May MVP talk is real. He looks amazing. And so go get Mac Hollins if you need a plug and play.
That connection looked uncanny. I mean, every time I looked around, it's like, is that Hollins again? He just threw to? Yeah, it's for real, guys. It's for real. Adam, throw us out somebody that you see in your crystal ball.
I was going to say with Wilson, you'd pick him up anyway. Marvin Harrison's terrible right now. Wilson in 1 week, did he score more points than Harrison scored in about the last 4? Like, I don't know. That's just without looking.
He had amazingly, he had over 180 yards receiving and no touchdowns out of it. It's like, how could that happen? But
I'll take the yards. I'll take the points for doing so good. Yeah, Mac Hollins. It's funny. He's like 32, I think he is, isn't he?
He is.
Holy cow!
He's older.
I'm going to start with an easy one. Sharon was just asking about this actually. Wilson or Gainwell. If Jacobs doesn't play, then yes, you're going to start Wilson as the running back there.
Yep.
Monitor that, because if not, throw in Gainwell, because he got a boat ton of receptions last week. So why not toss him in there? But the guy I was going to say Wilson, but it's more of you're doing waivers now, and you got to do waivers at this point in the week. You've got to pick up Wilson. He's available out. I had it noted in here. 17% of leagues he's rostered. I thought it'd be a lot higher because Jacobs went down a few weeks ago, and it was supposed to be. So they probably did what I did, which is dropped him and then had to pick him up again, because after the Steelers game, he went 11 for 61. So everybody grabbed him. And then the 1 for 2, you drop him after the Eagles game. But with Jacobs out, he's probably going to be one of the top waiver wire pickups this week. So precautionary, pick him up. You're not going to spend all of your leftover fab unless you really need a Green Bay running back this week. But it's not, it's a starting running back. And Gainwell, if you need someone to fill in that hole, who would you pick up if you could only pick one of these guys up? Gainwell, we know, is going to play. Wilson.
To me, it does come down to what you have on your roster already. Do you really need somebody to play or not? If you really truly need to have somebody on your roster that is going to get you points, I would probably go Gainwell, if not for the fact that he is going to get the touches. But with the Aaron Rodgers situation, it might mean they have to rely on a running game a little bit more. But I do like the call of picking up Wilson from Green Bay is that potential play, but more of a stash, because Green Bay's looking at it. They're going to be into the playoffs. They should be in the playoffs. if that's the mentality, they might be willing to sit Josh Jacobs or maybe not play him as much, so that way he's going to be healthy deeper into the season. So I like both calls, Wilson and Gainwell, but I think it's truly going to depend on what your specific roster needs are right now.
The only thing I want to add to that, though, is supposedly Marshawn Lloyd could be designated to return this week. So, I mean, just
too, I guess.
Look at the news to see if you're going to pick up Wilson. I think I personally would go Gainwell just because he is going to get touches.
Yeah.
They're playing Minnesota this week, and the Steelers are playing Chicago.
Yeah.
So I think I like the matchup better of Gainwell as well. But if you're the Jacobs manager, go get the other guy. That way you have somebody to play if you need him.
Yep. You got both parts of the equation. Great call. Great call. Speaking of running backs, I think my waiver wire pickup that I'd be looking at would be Chris Rodriguez of Washington, the running back that's there right now. According to Yahoo, only 12% rostered. Not really a surprise because, frankly, the Washington team can't figure out what they're doing, either passing or receiving or rushing. And it was evident against Miami just how bad that team was. But Chris Rodriguez might be a little bit of a beacon of hope if you're looking for a running back that you do need to start. It feels like they have changed the guard there. Instead of Wild Bill being that diamond in the rough that we thought he might be early in the season, instead of chanting Bill, 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 it's more like sell, sell, sell. And it feels like Chris is getting a lot of touches at this point, basically twice as many as Wild Bill at this moment.
They're on a bye this week, so
they're on a bye, but that's also the steal.
So you might be able to stash him. The other people might not be looking to get him.
That's exactly what, and I thought the same thing a week ago with Pierce, and I got taken to the cleaners on that one. We talked about Pierce on this list last week. That Colts are going to be on a bye. You might be able to take him. Nope. Across all my leagues, somebody snatched him. It's like, dang it. Somebody needs to stop watching our show, right? It's like, I can't go enough, All right. Susan, who else might be on your watch list?
So I am going to go Jacoby Brissett. I got to pull up the list. He is only rostered in 23% of leagues. Because just what he's doing, it's insane. I mean, you are looking for somebody to get you points. You're hoping they get 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he's doing that. So he had 32 points week 9. This is a 6-point touchdown league. 32 points week 9, 29 points week 10, 35 plus point, 30, almost 36 points this week versus San Francisco. He's getting the touchdowns. He happened to have 2 interceptions this week, but normally he's only had 1 interception since he started playing week 6. So I'm not as worried about the interceptions that happened. Go pick him up and start him. I mean, he is slinging the ball.
That many yards, that many completions, you're going to have a couple that probably get away from you or bounce off the receivers. I mean, 47 receptions, receptions.
Completed passes.
Completed passes, NFL record. Well done there. It's like almost feels like it's Flacco 3.0 because we talked about Flacco several weeks back, who had the same kind of resurrection a little bit that just lit it up, and it's like, oh yeah, remember him? Brissett's back on the radar, guys. Adam, who else do you think might be?
Something funny popped up on Instagram earlier today. If Aaron Rodgers goes down, they should try to get Flacco so that he can get. They're like, so he can get the Infinity Gauntlet. He won't make it to the Ravens, but it would be hilarious. Anyway, awesome. I got a guy that I just like because waiver wires at this point, you're throwing darts anyway. But we are doing without Garrett Wilson. And one of my favorite players years ago coming into the league was a heart story was John Michie. He came in with the injury out of Alabama, and then through the injury might have saved his life. We don't know how bad it could have been, but they discovered cancer. He beat the cancer, beat the injury, came back, and just never got back to form or had the opportunity. And he played last week for the Jets, had 3 for 45 and that touchdown versus the Patriots. Justin Fields is not the guy throwing the ball, so there's a chance the ball might get to somebody. So with them not knowing who they're going to throw to, maybe this is the time. He is owned in a whopping, I know this is an impossible stat. Sleeper says 0% in the leagues. There's got to be somebody in New York who has him. So it says 0%. So we can make it 1%. But if you've got deeper rosters, I mean, you're not going to put him on there if you only have like 3 or 4 bench spots. If you have a dynasty and he's sitting there, who knows? Maybe things are finally turning. They get a living, breathing quarterback next year. He could be Garrett Wilson's, Robin and serve in as a flex guy. But he has the talent. He has the pedigree. And at this point, if you're grasping at that kind of straws, I just want to talk about John Michie because I like him.
Talking about grasping at straws, I just threw up on our board Aya Manor from Cleveland. Tennessee rather. Thanks, Adam. That is truly grasping at straws. But if you think about it, Ridley is now out for the season. He broke a fibula, and DK has not been present at all. So
concussion
again,
protocol now, I think too.
Yeah. This is your guy. He's a wide receiver 1 for the team, but again, it's Tennessee. So take it for what it's worth. And with that, the crystal ball goes dark. So, okay. Little Jimmy. Start and sit with little Jimmy. So on our weekly show, we've got a segment called Start and Sit. We've got a little Jimmy coin that we flip, and props to Tank Talk Podcast for inspiration. Each week, you might have a couple of players. You're just not sure if you should play them or not. Save yourself the pressure. We encourage you to use our Start and Sit coins featuring our character called Little Jimmy. Flip him, whatever he lands on, do with that player. If it goes well, congratulations. If it doesn't, it's not your fault. Little Jimmy told you to do it. So the worst thing is not to flip Little Jimmy at all. And if you've been keeping track of our subjects over the weeks, Little Jimmy was right 6 weeks in a row, and he's been wrong the last 4 weeks. So maybe that's an indication in itself on what to do. Maybe it's time for you to consider flipping Little Jimmy yourself. And you can do this by getting your own Little Jimmy Start and Sit coin at fantasyturfwar.com or message any of us on social media and we'll get it over to you. It's only $5 plus shipping and it goes directly to support the fun that we have here. Again, 6 weeks in a row, and then he went cold 4 weeks straight. Jordan Addison last week, I thought he was going to have a great week. And then J.J. McCarthy showed up, and no, that touchdown was not even going to save your day. And this week, an interesting pick Little Jimmy has for us. Zay Flowers, the receiver from Baltimore on the season, 703 receiving yards. Not bad. 53 catches on 71 targets. Pretty good. Only 1 touchdown, though. And they are home against the Jets. If you're looking at standard scoring, you're talking about 10.5 points. That would probably translate to 40, 50 yards and a touchdown. But again, he's only had 1 for the season. So, Adam, let's flip Little Jimmy and see what kind of guidance he gives us. Survey says
sit Zay Flowers.
He says sits. Susan, is Little Jimmy right?
So I have Zay Flowers on my Fantasy Turf 4 roster, and I just have to start him every week. I think I'm not going to call him a bust for the season completely, but he was drafted too high for how he's been performing. Now, part of that comes with Lamar's injury, right? They haven't had Lamar. That's not been good. So it's not like he has necessarily been performing really poorly. It's just that overall the team has not been good.
True.
So the last 3 weeks, he's had 5 targets, 6 targets, 5 targets, and then 5 receptions, 4 receptions, 3 receptions. Which is not great, but you're still getting the yardage on that is not terrible. So
Right.
65 yards, 75 yards, 78 yards. So you're averaging about 10, 12
For PPR.
full PPR fantasy points.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I worry that he's gonna be game scripted out, because when the Ravens are up, the ball is Derrick Henry's. That is just how it works. And they're playing the Jets. In his favor, Sauce Gardner is gone. So if they're gonna throw it, he's not gonna be shadow covered by that great corner. But I think I'm gonna have to go. I'm sorry. Did he say start?
He said sit Zay Flowers.
Okay, then I think I'm gonna agree a lot based on the game script.
So Adam, Susan talked about if Baltimore's up, then the ball goes to King Henry, and you were cheering for that one, but it's like that hasn't happened very often this season. But then looking at what Zay Flowers has been getting, lots of catches, some good yardage, but nothing that leads into the end zone very often. So how do you take this?
Well, the thing is, I think what Susan's alluding to there is what I was going to say as well. You're not setting Zay Flowers. If you drafted Zay Flowers, you better hope you benched, you waiver wired someone up there. I don't have any Zay Flowers. I'm not a Zay Flowers fan generally. If it's not Mark Andrews, the chances of me having any of the pass catchers for Lamar Jackson isn't high, because it's like I just don't trust him. And Mark Andrews has been hard to trust as well. And this next couple weeks is murderer's row for the Ravens, and they're just going to run. Derrick Henry is going to be great. He's going to win me some championships. And the scoring, if standard scoring is 10.47, that realistically means he's got to get 104 yards. Yeah. So setting him makes sense. He's not. I just don't see. He's not an end zone threat. He is a yardage threat. If we go PPR, give him 4 catches for 80 yards, that gets him what I think the scoring you were saying. So you're not setting him, but little Jimmy might finally be back on track based upon the scoring wise.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know that Zay hasn't been getting the touchdowns as he did last year. I'm a little surprised with that as well. I hope you just didn't jinx us with King Henry that he's going to go on this massive tear over the next several weeks, because it really felt like when the news came out or the stories broke that Baltimore has to pretty much win every game, and it's a must win every single week. It felt like they just immediately started passing. Lamar came out that first week. He was back from injury, lit it up, 4 touchdowns or something like that. It's like, wow, surely they're going to keep that whole thing up. And it just feels like it's been a mixture of how are you getting those points, who's getting the points, and things like that. So I'm glad I don't have any share of Zay Flowers, but if I did, I would probably have to classify him in the same light that I have had to do with A.J. Brown. And now I'm considering the same thing with Justin Jefferson. It's like the production's been way down. If you have better options that are going to get points for you, might want to look at the big picture to see who do you sit, who do you play. But I've already decided I'm sitting A.J. Brown pretty much most of the rest of the season, and now I'm on defense of Justin Jefferson in the same light.
Dude, I'll pay you to sit Justin Jefferson against me sometime. That's the guy. I think he's one of those still. A.J. Brown, he's pretty. I just don't think you can sit Jefferson.
That would take throw major bravado. Yeah, you have to throw JJ up there every week.
You do,
and I have. But he's been hurting me too. Yeah, but when I've got depth at the receiver spot that I can make choices like that, then I can do that. I've got my receivers, Igbuka. Yep. I've got Odunze, Metcalf, Waddle. So I have other options available that I can look at the matchups and see. Yeah, it would pain me to try to sit Justin Jefferson, but every week has been letting me down, and it's like, how much longer can I afford that? I don't know. So interesting. But again, the word is little Jimmy says, sit Zay Flowers. And if you believe the streak that he's on, a losing streak of 4, then he's like, no, I'm playing him. He's going to light it up. Good luck to you guys. Good luck. Okay. Rapid fire. My rapid fire for the week for the chat rooms are, if you have feedback, we'd always love to hear from you guys, and bring friends, bring neighbors, listen in, and don't be afraid to ask questions at this point in time, especially as we start getting close to the end of this regular season. But again, our opinions are our opinions. Do your own research, form your own opinions. Just don't take our word for it. All right. Anything else you guys want to say or talk about before we wrap up this evening?
I reiterate, don't give up on the season. I might have helped Susan, I believe, with my win. That helped you, right? In Turf Wars?
Yeah, it did. It did help me in Turf Wars.
I'm here
with
for
a big
you.
smile.
I'm here for you. I said you don't give up, because it's more fun to watch someone suffer a little bit with me. That's the only league actually that I have zero chance of making the play. Oh yeah, and Scott Fishbowl. I'm done with that. But those are the two leagues. Yeah, because that's the Scott Fishbowl playoffs start this week. So peace. Thanks, Scott Fish.
Oh wow.
I will send you a donation.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a different kind of thing. Like if you win 13 games, no matter what division you're getting, then it's points. I was like, oh, maybe no.
But it's 13 games that includes the median.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
the median place. Oh yeah, that's
cool. You have the
that's
median scoring in there as well, so that's includes.
Fascinating.
My Scott Fish team was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. The scoring this year just totally. I didn't know how to draft it.
But it's one of those things. He sets it up like that though, so that the scoring is not. It allows for just weird,
Yeah.
You almost have to do a lot of research to figure out how can I leverage points out of this type of league in order to know how to draft. Almost like from the difference of standard to PPR.
6 guys in my division. I was 10 and 12 finally. 6 guys, like John Hesterman's a name I know from somewhere, was in my division. Everybody else I don't know, but the top 6 guys all won 13 games.
Jeez.
And I have more points than the bottom 2 guys that won 13 games. So I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So double check that you didn't make it on points, Adam. Because you can make it based on just your points.
Yeah, but with all I don't think I have high enough thing there.
Yeah. So with this being our Wicked Good or Wicked Bad episode, are you guys planning on seeing Wicked? Oh.
Chase's appeal has been
denied.
Breaking news. Thank you, Sharon.
Okay, contemplate this on the tree of woe, as they say.
He'll be out. He'll be out next week.
There you go. Either you guys planning on seeing Wicked Part 2 at the theaters?
Yes.
See,
I was a theater kid growing up, so like I saw it in New York. I've seen it on tour. So seeing this is like, I'm a crier. So I will be crying at the end of the movie. I won't, no spoilers, but like it's so good.
And I've seen the live show twice myself. It is, anytime you go to see live anything, it's so much better than in a movie theater. But last year's Part 1 was over the top. Probably going to watch that before I go watch that over the weekend. Adam, Wicked?
I think I made the playoffs. that's
Wicked good. Wicked good.
So it's like the top 500 people. Yeah, I'm in the playoffs. Let's see where I end up. Holy moly. Sorry, Stat. I wasn't even paying attention earlier today. So I'll tell my Wicked story while I figure out where I am. But Wicked was my wife and I's first year dating anniversary. We went to New York. I was so excited. I was broke as a joke. I took a job that gave me $5,000 less than teaching to do it. Then I saved up my money. We stayed at this little hotel room, the size of the room I'm in. Like you walked over the bed to use the bathroom, but it was overlooking the park. Awesome place. We got to walk around, got to see Wicked. We get there, we're going in, and it's Idina Menzel's Night Off.
Oh wow.
Wow.
I, to this day, remember that. I'm still really, really sad.
But that means you probably saw Shoshana Bean, who was also incredible.
It was 20 years ago. This year's our 20th anniversary, so it was 23 years ago to be even crazier. But the funny thing is, my wife and daughter went to see the movie, and I was like, I'm going to wait because it's 2 parts. So I haven't, and I was like, hey, somebody want to watch the movie? No one did. So it's sitting there on Prime to watch. And my wife is Wizard of Oz nut. Like that's her jam. She's Wizard of Oz. As a kid, she would watch Wizard of Oz. She would watch Wizard of Oz on like rolling tape.
That's funny.
On repeat.
I saw it twice in live in Milwaukee. Fascinating to be there, part of the live audience. It was a fun experience. Yeah, we'd actually gotten tickets for Saturday night, and then my wife is like, "Did we get Jeff Dunham tickets for that night?" And it's like, "Oh, we did. Jeff Dunham and Kissimmee." So I ended up getting tickets for Sunday night instead. So I'll miss some football for a good cause. So that's my weekend.
That's awesome.
All right.
Oh, there I am. 146.
Oh, wow. Nice. Well
I'm
done.
shocked. Wow, look at that.
Wow, we're going to leave this show
146?
That's what it says.
I'm like 4,400 and something.
Don't tell anybody that.
Oh, wait, that's not.
Listen, me and Derek Brown from Fantasy Pros were like race to the bottom for last in our division.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was not alone.
Well,
that's I'm in here. So I'm in the non-darked out people. So that means I play this week.
Nice. Yep. Well, that's going to do it. That's well done. Way to leave things on a wicked good note. That's going to do it for this week. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. If you feel like you got value out of the show, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share the show with everybody you know. And as always, lots of fun tonight with my partners in crime. Susan, where can we find you?
TikTok, Instagram, right here. DMs are open if you've got questions. Sit questions, strategy questions, whatever you got. I'm here. Adam, where can people find you?
Fantasy Couriers, anywhere you listen to your podcast. You can check us out, fantasycouriers.com. I got rankings on Fantasy Pros. And I'm also very bad at math. I think I'm 1,400 something. But anyway, so I got some articles coming up. I wrote this week about guys to trade, buys to sell high. A guy I wrote about was Bryce Young, and I closed it out by saying, sell him for anything, just sell him for something. Get a Flacco and a player like a flex player you can get for him, because coming off of that's his career game. So yeah, so I got articles like that. Got another one right tomorrow.
Awesome. Yeah, and he set a Carolina passing record with that one too last weekend. Mm-hmm. And I'm Cameron, of course, supporting Shelter Dogs for Veterans. You can find me right here every Tuesday night live. And as Commish Corey closes out each week, be excellent to each other, be kind, and until next time, keep moving forward. See ya.